Welcome to the Arsenal Report, and remember, subscribe, then enjoy your news. It was a transfer saga whispered in press rooms and murmured in the dark corners of football forums for weeks. But now, it's no longer rumour, it's reality. Julián Álvarez, the relentless Argentine forward nicknamed La Araña, the Spider, has officially joined Arsenal Football Club in the summer of 2025, completing one of the most sensational moves of the transfer window. The £75 million deal from Manchester City to Arsenal shocked the Premier League, not just for the fee, but for what it signals. Arsenal are no longer building for the future. The future is now. The breaking point at City. The roots of this move stretch back to the previous season. Álvarez, despite tallying double-digit goals and assists, often found himself living in the long shadow cast by Erling Haaland. At times deployed out wide, other times on the bench, the World Cup winner grew weary of being a second option. Whispers of his frustration made their way to North London, where Mikel Arteta, a former City man himself, saw the perfect opportunity to strike. Julián is more than a forward, Arteta said at the unveiling. He's a system, a mentality, a force, and at Arsenal, he will be free to be all of that. The Arteta project, a winger reborn. Though known as a striker, Arteta envisions Álvarez as a devastating inverted right winger, much like how he used Bukayo Saka in seasons past. With Saka now captain and often operating centrally or deeper, Álvarez brings ruthless verticality and flair to the wing, not just pace, but precision. In pre-season, fans immediately saw glimpses of what was to come. Álvarez drifting inside, combining with Ødegaard, darting behind lines, and scoring goals that sent echoes through the Emirates. The Gunners now boast a fluid front line. Álvarez on the right, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia on the left, Lautaro Martinez through the middle. It's South American steel with European class. It's a trident of nightmares for Premier League defenders. Fans and fury. When the deal was announced, Arsenal's fan base erupted. Social media exploded with photoshopped kits, chants of "Spider in red" filled the streets, and the club store saw Álvarez shirts sell out in 2 hours. Even former players weighed in. Ian Wright tweeted, "He's exactly what we've been missing, a monster with a smile." But not everyone was pleased. City fans felt betrayed. The club's brass insisted they didn't want to lose him, but Álvarez pushed hard for the move. He wanted a starting role. He wanted to lead the line. He wanted to be the guy. At Arsenal, he gets that chance. South American spirit, North London fire. Álvarez's first match in red and white came in the Community Shield against Liverpool, and he delivered. A blistering counter-attack saw him glide past 2 defenders, chop inside, and fire into the bottom corner. Emirates erupted. He kissed the badge. It was the perfect start. But for Álvarez, it's not about moments. It's about mission. "I've played with the best," he said in his first Arsenal interview. "I've won the World Cup. I've won the Champions League. But I came here to win something new, to help Arsenal return to the very top, to give everything to this badge." A system changed. Behind the scenes, Arteta redesigned Arsenal's system to fit the new arrival. The 4-3-3 now operates with a high, aggressive press. Álvarez is the tip of the spear, relentlessly harassing defenders, cutting off passing lanes and leading transitions. He is more than a winger. He is a fire starter. His chemistry with Martin Ødegaard is immediate. With Ben White overlapping and Rice covering ground behind, Álvarez is given license to roam, to attack, to be unpredictable. The combination play, the pressing triggers, the positioning, everything clicks. Arsenal look like champions in waiting. Legacy in the making. By mid-season, Álvarez has already scored 14 goals and assisted 9. His work rate is unmatched. His smile is infectious. His passion is undeniable. Arsenal are top of the league, and the world takes notice. In Argentina, murals go up of Álvarez in red. In London, young kids chant his name at school. At the Emirates, his spider-inspired goal celebration becomes a ritual. More than a signing, Julián Álvarez is a statement. Final word. From Kalshin to Qatar, from Manchester to North London, La Araña has spun his web across the world. Now, at Arsenal, he has found his home, a club ready to embrace his fury, his fire, and his footballing poetry. And as the Premier League quivers beneath Arsenal's storm, one thing is another news. Arsenal have confirmed the signing of Danish midfield powerhouse Christian Nørgaard from Brentford. Known for his intelligent positioning, leadership, and fierce tackling, the 30-year-old defensive midfielder has made the move to North London, signing a 2-year deal with an option for a third. His arrival is seen as a strategic push by Mikel Arteta to bolster the midfield with experience, composure, and steel. This story of how Nørgaard became a gunner is a tale of tactical vision, strategic recruitment, and a man ready to step into the Premier League's biggest stages. For years, Christian Nørgaard had quietly but effectively carved his name into the Premier League's most consistent holding midfielders. A cornerstone at Brentford since 2020, he embodied resilience and tactical intelligence. His passing range was sharp, his interceptions precise, and his leadership on the pitch undeniable. While other midfielders dazzled with flair, Nørgaard commanded games with structure. So when Arsenal's director of football, Edu Gaspar, placed the call to his agent in late May 2025, Nørgaard initially thought it was a mistake. "Are you serious?" he asked his representative. Arsenal were not just interested. They had watched him for months. Mikel Arteta had marked his name as a potential stabiliser, someone who could protect the backline, allow more offensive freedom to stars like Ødegaard and Declan Rice, and bring vocal leadership into a dressing room chasing glory. Arteta knew that Arsenal's next step required depth, leadership, and tactical reliability in tight games. Last season, Arsenal lost crucial points in late moments against low blocks and high-pressing sides. Nørgaard's signing was tailored to address this, not just a squad player, but a field general. "He's a quiet warrior," Arteta told Arsenal media after the announcement. "Christian understands the game from deep. He speaks, organises, and anticipates. These are qualities you don't teach. You inherit them through experience. We need that." With Thomas Partey nearing an exit and Jorginho returning to Italy, the base of Arsenal's midfield needed reinforcement. Nørgaard was the right fit. He came with over 150 games of Premier League experience, international pedigree with Denmark, and captaincy experience at Brentford. Brentford fans were emotional at the departure of their captain. Christian had been more than a player. He was a symbol of their Premier League rise, their engine, their heartbeat. In a farewell message posted on social media, Nørgaard wrote, "I gave my soul to Brentford, and the club gave me a platform to grow into the player I am today. But when Arsenal calls, it's an opportunity every player dreams of. I'll never forget the Bees. Thank you for everything." Brentford allowed the move out of respect for his service. Arsenal's offer, believed to be around £8 million, was accepted quickly, and personal terms were finalised within 48 hours. When Nørgaard walked into London Colney for the first time in Arsenal red, he was greeted by his compatriot and captain Martin Ødegaard, who smiled and said, "Welcome to the other side." Though Ødegaard plays for Norway and Nørgaard for Denmark, the Scandinavian connection was strong. There was already a healthy sense of chemistry forming between the two in training. Nørgaard's first training session was described as intense, vocal, and precise. Even the likes of William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes were seen nodding as the Dane issued tactical cues during drills. One assistant coach reportedly said, "He speaks like a coach. It's like having a player-manager in the middle of the pitch." Christian Nørgaard will wear the number 15 shirt at Arsenal and is expected to operate as a deep-lying midfielder. Whether starting in double pivot alongside Rice in a 4-2-3-1 or shielding alone in a 4-3-3, his role is simple: break opposition lines, recover possession, and keep the tempo calm under pressure. Arteta plans to use him as a key figure in away games and Champions League nights where control is everything. "Every great orchestra needs a conductor who doesn't always play the loudest note, but sets the rhythm," said the Arsenal manager. "Christian will be that for us."